Hi, welcome to this crochet tutorial. We are going to be learning 4 basic stitches: the chain, double crochet, half treble, and the treble crochet. All that you are going to need is some wool and a hook. The first thing that we need to do is to make a slip stitch. So to do this, you put your yarn around your finger, you then pull the yarn through the circle that you've just made of putting it around your finger, and then you can pull it out. So it should look a bit like this. Okay, we're going to try it again. So it goes around your finger, and then you get the yarn, and you can, as you can see in the video, you pull it through that circle that you just made from putting it around your finger, and you should be able to just pull it out just by pulling both sides. And you can adjust it and make the knot a little tighter. You then put it around your hook and you pull both ends to tighten it around your hook, but make sure you can still move the loop around your hook easily and it's not too tight. The first stitch that we are going to learn is a basic chain stitch. I should also say in this tutorial I will be using British terms. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your yarn and you're going to go over the front of your hook and then round the back of it, and then you are going to pull your yarn so you get the loop that was already on your hook over the top of your hook, like you can see in the video, which should leave a sort of arrow which is pointing away from your hook. So we're going to just do that again. We are going to put the yarn over your hook like this, and then around the back, and then you're going to pull through, so you keep the yarn that you just yarned over stays on your hook, but the other one goes over the hook, and it should leave that arrow that you can see there in the video. And we are going to be doing 11 of these, including those two. So just yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, just like this. If you lose count of how many stitches you have done, you can always count the arrows. There's one for each stitch. So here I have done 6. We are now going to do some double crochets. Remember, if you still don't understand how to do a chain, you can do more in practice. But for the double crochet, we are going to you see the first stitch from our arrow, we're not going to put it in there, we're going to put it in the second stitch, second sort of arrow. So we're going to put our hook through those two. So you can see on the back there's these sort of like ridges. So we want the ridges to be on the back of our hook with the 2 strands from the arrow on the front of our hook. So we want to get our hook under both of those strands. I promise the first row is the hardest one to do this in. It gets much easier after this. You can use your fingers to try make the gap a bit bigger between the ridge and the 2 strands, and you just want to put your hook in there, and then you should have on your hook the strand from before and those 2 arrows. So there we go, I've got it on my hook there, and you just want to make sure that that loop is nice and tight and it's not too loose, because as I was doing that it got a bit loose. And so next we are going to just put our yarn around the hook like we did with the chain, but this time we're just going to pull off the middle stitch. So we're going to leave 2 things still on our hook. We are then going to put our yarn around again, so just over, back, and then we're going to pull through the 2 things on our hook, so we're just left with that. And then we are just going to do that again. That is how you do a double crochet. So we are going to look for the next arrow. We are going to put our hook through the 2 strands from the arrow. So we've got the ridge on the back and the 2 strands from the arrow on the top of our hook. This can take a bit of work and a bit of practice. And then we put, so as you can see, we have the 2 strands from the arrow and the loop from our last stitch on our hook. We're then going to put our yarn around. The middle one goes over our hook, the arrows. We are then going to put our yarn around again, and then we are going to take off the 2 loops near the end. And we're just going to keep doing that. We're just going to keep on going. As I said before, I will be using British terms. So in British terms, this is called a double crochet. I will also be putting on the screen now the standard abbreviation in most crochet written patterns, what a double crochet is generally written as if you're just reading written crochet patterns. So we're just going to keep going with this, just putting our hook through the 2 loops, then putting the yarn forwards, putting our yarn around our hook, and then putting over the middle 2 strands, and then yarn around again, and then the last 2 strands. And we're just going to keep going until the end of the row. When you're doing your double crochets, you want to make sure that they are leaving these arrows that are pointing the opposite way of your work, and also that the arrows from the chains are facing up and it's not the ridges that are facing up, because you just want to make sure that your work doesn't turn over. Okay, I have finished my row of double crochets now. I'm just going to take my hook out so you can better see it. And so you can see, as you can see, they're quite small. These are the smaller ones of the stitches that we are doing. As you can see, it leaves these arrows as well. And that is just what a double crochet sort of looks like. This is what your work should look like, but it's okay if it doesn't. It takes a lot of practice, and you can keep doing more double crochet rounds and just really work on it. If you are going to be doing double crochet rounds, before each round, what you want to do is you want to chain 1, which will be your turning stitch, and as you can see here, I'm just chaining 1, and then you will do your double crochet into the second arrow from the hook. So you would do it in that arrow there, and you would do a double crochet, because otherwise, if you do not, your work will start to go this shape, which is not what we want. So make sure you always chain 1 and then go into the second chain from the stitch. But for a half treble, you want to chain 2, because they're slightly bigger stitches, and so the chain 2 gives it more of its height. So you want to yarn over, pull through, and you're going to chain 2. So first thing we are going to do is we're going to put our yarn over the hook before we've even inserted it into any of the arrows or anything. Yarn over like this. We are then going to count the stitches. We want to put it in the 3rd stitch from our hook. So not the 2 ones that you've chained. You want to make sure it's the 3rd one. As you can see here, 3rd stitch. So you just put your hook in. You then want to put the yarn round your hook again. So just it's gone over the front, over the back. You then pull through and take the 2 arrows. They go over your hook. So you're left with 3 loops on your hook. You then put your yarn around again and pull off those 3. And then you should just be left with this 1 hook. I know this can be slightly confusing, but I promise it will get easier if you just practice it a little bit. So we are going to do it again. And as you can see, the stitch is a bit higher than the double crochet. So yarn over. We are then going to go into the next of the arrows. Just put our hook through. So we now have these on our hook. We're then going to put the yarn over. We're going to pull off the 2 strands from the arrows off our hook like this. This can take a little bit of practice to learn how to pull it off, but it'll work, I promise. And then you need to so you have these 3 stitches. You are then going to put the yarn back around and then pull off the 3 stitches that are on your hook. Well, 3 loops, sorry. Okay, so it should look a bit like this. So we're just going to do that again. We're just going to do the whole row, so 10 of these. So hook in, yarn over, pull through from the 2 strands, and then pull through the 3 loops. Okay, so I have finished my row of half treble crochets. You can keep going and keep doing as many rows as you want and just practice it, which will be a good thing to do. As you can see, it's bigger than the double crochets, and depending on what size hook and yarn you will be using, depends on the tension and how gappy the stitch will be. Also, I'm going to put on the screen the standard abbreviation for a half treble crochet. Now we are going to do the treble crochet. So first thing you want to do is chain 2. And then you are going to turn your work and you are going to count down for 3 to the third arrow. That's where you want to put your stitch in, same as last time with the half treble. What you want to make sure is when you do half treble crochets, it has 2 sets of arrows, one that's pointing away and is on the top of your work, and one that's on the side and goes towards your hook. So you want to make sure you put your hook into the top, because you don't want to be working into the side. That's only if you're working with half treble crochets. So you put your yarn over, you then put your hook in to where those arrows are, then you put your yarn over again, front, back like that. You take the 2 strands from the arrow that goes off your hook, you then put the yarn over again like that, and you just pull off the middle 2 loops. And then you put your yarn over again and you pull off the final 2 loops. So there's 3 movements, which is why I guess it's a treble crochet, because it's 3. So you then put your yarn over again, you go into the next of the arrows, yarn over, put through those 2, that's from the 2 loops from the arrow, then the middle 2, then finally the last 2. And you can just keep practicing that and just keep repeating it. And maybe pause the video and rewind if you're still a bit confused about it, but just do that until the end of the row. And that is our final stitch. I will be putting the common abbreviation for that on the screen right now, and you can just keep practicing that and keep doing it. Good luck. I know crochet could be really hard to learn, and especially at the start it can be really difficult, but just keep going with it and I promise it will get so much easier and you can make so much cool stuff, and it is such a fun hobby and something you can do while watching Netflix, or maybe make gifts to your friends or sell them if that is what you want to do, and it's just really fun. And if you want to crochet with someone, I do crochet streams where I crochet and chat, and you can just crochet along and I can answer any questions you may have about crochet, try to help out. And also on this channel I will be uploading more crochet content and tutorials. I'm thinking of doing one about reading crochet patterns, written patterns, or maybe some others about making the magic circle and circles, increasing and decreasing, changing color, all that sort of thing. And for condensed versions of my Twitch stream, I'm also uploading those to my YouTube channel, so if you'd like to check that out or be notified when I upload more videos, please subscribe. And if you find this video helpful, please like or comment down below if you have any questions or just any feedback in general. But good luck with learning the different stitches and with your crochet. Hopefully you found this easy to follow and you don't get too discouraged if you can't instantly crochet. It takes a lot of time and practice. I've been crocheting for 2 years now, but these are some of the basic stitches, and once you know these basic stitches you can make most things, and it's really fun and really good. So I hope you enjoy crochet, and I hope that you liked this video. So this is what it looks like with all the 3 different stitches. You can see the double crochet at the bottom is the smallest, tightest stitch, with the half treble being bigger and then the full treble being the biggest and the loosest. And as I said earlier in the video, depending on the size of your hook and the size of your yarn will also depend on the tension and the gappiness. And you can see I've got the arrows which are at the top, and you can just keep on going and make things. You can chain more and then it will be longer, or you can just do more rows and that will make it higher, and that's how you make things like a scarf, which is very basic. And you could just choose one of these stitches, or you can alternate stitches and just do whatever you would like with it. But I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful.